What's up YouTube, this is Collect Pokemon and welcome back to another video. So in this video, it is going to be me telling you, based on statistical probability, how many of the current TCG games that we're seeing will survive. Just before we go into it, remember to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and all the information that I'm going to give you in this video is mainly based on speculation, and it is based on my own speculation and observation. So don't take it as like financial investment advice or anything else. But it is just something that we should really consider and think about. And to be very honest, I didn't really plan this video in my head. So if there's a lot of weird stuff or incohesive flow of the video, don't mind me. I'm just recording this as I am pretty much thinking it. All right, so I believe that the world of trading card game or the idea of capitalism or something like that is the survival of the fittest. And some cards game can stand the test of time while other disappears. Some cards game continue to reignite people's interest. Others try to reinvent new types of cards, new type of gaming mechanics, to keep the player base interested. And the longer you are in this market, in the TCG, it might be that, the better you are at doing this. And to be very, very certain, new card game, I'm not saying that they're all bad. I mean, all the Metasuit, all the Flesh and Blood, all the Digimon, all the Dragon Ball Super, they're new, and that new kind of novelty does appeal to many people. I mean, it's just like a reason why, people cheat. I mean, there might be a lot of young kids here, but it's above 18. People always try to find one reason is that they want to, switch things around, find a new boyfriend, find a new girlfriend. It's because they like that novelty. And then once you settle down, you're like, oh, man, I think the old one's better. So the ones that are actually remaining are the ones that can actually, stand the test of time. Now, in this video, I'm going to talk about statistics, and I am going to give you guys some statistics as to the different card games that has been released over the past years, 20, 25, 30 years. And wow, 30 years. I must be old. Yeah, so we're going to explore that, and we're going to really look at the statistics and how to bring that back into today's modern card market, and to really understand probability-wise, how many of them will actually stay. So I based my record on some Google search, and it is basically searching up all the TCG games that has been released since they have a record of it on a Wikipedia page. You guys can check that page out if you Google it. So there are around 367 different card games that has been released, some of which I have never heard of. So, I mean, the earliest one you have is Magic the Gathering, obviously, and there's one called Super Deck, Star Trek, Spellfire, On the Edge, New World Order, Galactic Empire, Fighter Fantasy, Dixie Dog Force, Jihad, the Crowd, but there's just a lot of them. Rage, Raising Challenge, Warcry, the dozens. I mean, I've never heard of most of them anyway. Now, the current card games that are still in print that has been released in the past 5 years, there are in total, let me see. There are a total 27 card games. So between the year 2015 to 2020, there are 27 different card games that was released. That's a lot. And out of that 27 card game, 18 are still in print in the last 5 years. Which is good, I think, which is very decent. And I mean, that's like a 66%. Only 1/3 of the card game are still around. So I think that, 2/3 are still around, 1/3 is gone. So I think it's a pretty solid number. But when we move down to the 10-year mark, so between 2010 to 2020, a total of 62 card games were conceived, were made, were designed, were printed. But now, out of that 62, only 31 actually remains in print. that drops it down to a 50%. Now, if we take back another 5 years to look at that 15 years mark between 2005 to 2020, this is where we see the trend become more interesting. 156 card games were printed and only 39 are still in print. And here's the time. If we go back to 20 years, there has been 257 card games printed, but only 43 remain. That leaves us with like around 17%. And if we look at all time, there has been what, like 367 card games designed, only 51 still really exist today. I mean, I'm not even counting whether that 51 are popular card game. Are they still selling well? Are they still, financially doing miracles, right? It's just that it is still in print, it is still there. So, that brings the percentage to around 14%. So how would these numbers actually translate to what we're seeing in the market? Like I said, there's 18 card games that are currently in print that has been released in the past 5 years. Now, for these 18 card games, in the next 5-year time, only 14 will remain. And then 10 years, 7 of them will remain. 15 years, 5 of them. And 20 years, 4 of them. So if you look back, which 4? Is it going to be Flesh and Blood? Is it going to be Metasuit? Is it going to be Dragon Ball Super? Is it going to be Digimon? Is it going to be other random stuff that I didn't know? Warhammer, Transformer. Actually, Transformer is no longer in print. Final War tactical card game. Something random. What I really want you guys to really think about is not how good, how investable a card game is on the secondary market now, but the longevity of the card game, the possibility that this card game become totally out of print, totally useless, totally ignored. Because, card game is not like sports card. If it is out of print, is out of print. When it's out of print, there's no interest in that individual card game anymore. The card game only exists in a particular hypothetical universe that doesn't tie in with real life. I know I've been saying that with Pokemon. I said that Pokemon card game is much better investment than baseball card or basketball cards because pictures of people, if they're no longer relevant for a particular age group, they disappear. No one cares about a Ricky Mantle card because no one knows about who Ricky Mantle is. No one cares about Wayne Gretzky because no one knows who he is. I mean, after 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, those people that knows Wayne Gretzky or Ricky Mantle would have pretty much died out. And if they died out, no one would really care about, who's a legend in baseball, who's a legend in hockey. Yeah, so that's that. But Pikachu never aged. Pikachu to me is the same Pikachu to a 5-year-old kid. And that was the argument I was telling you why a trading card game is a much better investment. But the downside to this argument is that if Pokemon, that franchise no longer becomes relevant, when it no longer exists, it loses value much quicker than that individual person because, it just doesn't exist. It's like it's never existed in the world. And, things such as, I think, Legend of the Five Rings or, even Harry Potter card or Sailor Moon cards, when that card game is discontinued, when the people lose interest in it, those will just lose value. Like instantly. It actually goes to like 0 kind of thing. So that's that. And I think that I've did a bit more deeper analysis into this idea. And this is to take a look at which year and on average, what are the card game in each year actually make it to the next year. Here's the thing, there's a lot of new Kickstarters. There's a lot of new Kickstarter crowdfunding project talking about a new trading card game. Everyone wants to be like Metasu. Everyone wants to make money like Metasu, to create, to be creative, make a card game, print it, and, go crazy, and, pretty much you're printing money. So I can tell you that this resembles years ago, I think in the early 2000s, where, when people saw Magic the Gathering was growing, every single large company wants to make a card game out of its franchise, out of its IP, but many of them just simply fail. And when we go deeper into this, I'm just looking at the statistics. I don't want to bore you with the numbers. In 2020, in 2019, 100% of those card games that was conceived or created in those 2 years, 100% are still in print, which is not a big surprise. But if we see years like 2010, they have made 5 card games, all 5 of them died. None of them exist. If we look back at 2001, they made 20. None of them exist. 2000, they made 19. None of them exist. 1999, they made 14 and only 1 exists. 1998, they made 8, none exist. So it is very interesting, because even in the year 2010, we're seeing that, like 2010, 2005, and the year 2000, these are the numbers I quoted, because 2020 is that 5-year period. A lot of the trading cards game, I do believe, takes that 5-year cycle. And 5-year, I wouldn't say it's a very long time in terms of long term, but that's the time we have to wait to see if a card game can actually make it or not make it. And all these hypes around Fresh and Blood, Metasu, to be honest, they're just too new. Even Dragon Ball Super, it hasn't hit that 5-year mark yet. And because of that, I'm very, very skeptical for those people who think that, hey, these are going to the moon, these are great investment, because there's no record, there's no data that can tell me these. You're just buying on a speculation that other people are speculating on. You're just buying into the hype. So that's that. I would not suggest investing in a lot of these newly created card games, especially new like Kickstarter and things, simply because there's just no trend to see. And you're gonna say, hey, collect Pokemon. If we see the trend, if people see the trend, it's too late. I'm not gonna make money out of it. Are people still making money out of Pokemon? Are people still making money out of Magic the Gathering? They are. Was I there when Pokemon First Edition was released? Did I buy and invest in the WotC period cards? No, I didn't. Am I still making money from Pokemon? Yes, I am. And how? Well, I believe that, if a card game can pass that 5-year mark, there is a higher confidence that it will pass that 10-year mark. And from that, I would start investing, because, if you believe in that card game, that it will last, chances are it will continue to move up. But all these new card game, people think it's good because it was easier to access. People think about that short-term profit margin. And that short-term profit margin is very, very messed up, because people think about 10 timing something, 5 timing something, 20 timing something. Yeah, it's totally silly. And just the other day, I actually offered someone locally, I actually put a post up, and was offering to trade. I've offered to trade a black box, which is the master set, the Master Battle Limited Edition set, for the Japanese gold box. Not 1-to-1, but 1-to-4. For one of my black box, for your 4 golden Japanese box. Many people were saying, hey, collect Pokemon. That's a good deal for them. You stupid. Why would you even do that? The gold box is going to be printed to the ground, and the black box will be like the Team Rocket box. That's what a lot of people would think. And I think very differently. I think about, first, what price did I get the black box at? What price are the golden box? I bought the black box at MSRP, which is around, what, 150 US dollar. And now I'm trading for 4 golden bucks, which quadruple my money. So I'm actually happy of that. And then my rationale is, how likely will that black box, that $2,000 battle limited edition set, goes to $4,000? And how many people out in the market is willing to pay $4,000 for that box? And the answer is, I think, not a lot. Whereas if you have a gold box, currently standing at around $400, $450, how likely is it to grow up or go back into $1,500, $1,200, $2,000? If it goes up to 1,500, let's say, and I've traded 1 for 4, you guys can do the math. So I think very differently to a lot of people who just simply speculates the market. You know, I really care about that long-term growth. And I mean, to be very honest, if you really care about that instant profit, you might as well buy Bitcoin. You might as well play crypto, because just buy and sell, right? That's much easier. So that's that. And that's pretty much it for this video. I really want to draw your attention to really thinking about how many of the current TCG games that we're hyping up, we're buying from, how many of them will actually stand the test of time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope it is informational, and let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Which ones are the one that can survive the test of time? Peace. Bye-bye.